Good evening, everybody, and welcome to an episode of Flush in the Pocket, presented by Brunswick. But now, I love Brunswick. I really do. I love them for what they have done for me to help me with this podcast, or just something nice that they've done for me. Because I mentioned, Flush in the Pocket, presented by Brunswick Bowling. And now, sponsored by, we have a sponsor. Flush in the Pocket podcast is proudly sponsored by, let me get them on Facebook here. And I'm actually really excited about this one. So this is going to be one of those episodes, right? That is one that you never want to do. Sorry, itching of the eye. You never want to do these memorial podcasts, memorial episodes, because you want to remember somebody who is say in their 90s and had a great life, and you hate when people's lives are cut short. We're going to talk about that coming up here. We are. So hang on one second. Like I said, this is going to be an all over the place podcast. I'm sorry. We have a brand new sponsor. I cannot wait. There it is. Sponsoring Flush in the Pocket podcast for the year of 2024 until September, at least, of 2024 is a great bowling center in Lewiston, Maine. Can you imagine a bowling center sponsoring a bowling podcast? That never happens, right? Just in Time Recreation. Great bowling center. All right. Now, they are sponsoring this podcast. They are putting up the bill for the software that I use, the program that I use to come to you live. And I'm going to figure out not now, but in the coming days, weeks, whatever, what I can do with this program that I couldn't do when I had a free version of it. Excuse me. By the way, I'm drinking a coffee, and it's not a shameless plug. I'm just, I went to Dunkin' and got a coffee, and I'm drinking it. But this is sponsored by Just in Time Entertainment. All right. So Just in Time Entertainment is owned by Justin Jury and his beautiful wife, Samantha. And thank you to them, because this used to be Spare Time Lanes in Lewiston, right? And then the people that owned Spare Time we got a thing on Facebook that says, hey, we're closing, right? This bowling center is closing. Well, Justin and his beautiful wife decided to step in and say, you know what? Let's buy this. And they turned it into, instead of Spare Time, it is now Just in Time Recreation. So you can email them at info@justintimebowl.com. Check out their website, justintimebowl.com. And their phone number is 207-786-BOWL, 207-786-2695. Imagine that. How many bowling alleys have 2695 at the end of their phone number? You know what I mean? Why would you ever go to Just in Time Recreation? I'll tell you why. I'm going to tell you, because if I don't tell you, then you won't go. It's like, hey, you should go to this bowling alley. Well, why? Oh, I don't know. You should just go. Okay, I'll pass. But you don't want to pass on this one, because Just in Time Recreation is a great bowling center that has 16 10-pin bowling lanes, and they are doing some great things. So and I don't know if I could talk about them, but they're going to be focusing on league bowling, but they also want to focus on the recreational bowler. All right. So it is justintimebowl.com. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to prove that that is the web address because I'm going to go there. All right, let's go to the website. We'll get to the podcast. What are you doing? Okay, let's leave. Yep. Just in time recreation. All right. So you have the bowling, you have the restaurant, and you have the bar. And it's awesome. So we're going to click on the bowling. All right. So you can get 1 hour of bowling for $30. An hour and a half of bowling for $10 more. So, okay, hour, $30. 90 minutes, which is an hour plus 30 minutes, $10 more. Oh, but no, see, I like to take my time. So I need the 2 hour. I need to bowl for 2 hours. Okay, it's $50. Do it. All right. It is awesome. It is awesome. Now, you can become a VIP as well. Now, I've got to be honest, okay? Hold on one second. Let me allow so they know where I am. You can become a VIP. And it says, be the first to receive updates on exclusive events and, secret menu specials, offers, discounts, loyalty rewards, and more. Enter your email address. Become a VIP today. It is free. So there it is. So, but what if you don't want to bowl? What if you don't want to party? Or what if you want to party? You don't want to bowl. Well, let me take a. I love iced coffee. All right. So, right now on their website, they have an awesome menu. Ooh, look at that pizza. Look at that pizza. All right. They have an appetizer sampler. You can 4 potato skins, wings, 4 wings, 4 Ma's Moons, and or I'm sorry, that's 2 Ma's Moons, fried pickles 6, tenders 2, and cheese curds. You can get all that for $15.50. You can get their bone-in wings. You can get 10 for $13.50. You can get chicken tenders. You get 4 for $7.50. Why am I doing this when you could just check out the website? Because I want them to know that I am so glad that I have them in my corner. Hand cut French fries, $5.50. Wow, and add cheese for $1. Add bacon for $2. How do you go wrong with that? Nachos, $12.50. And fried tortillas, melted cheese, tomatoes, green peppers, black olives. Hold the black olives, please, Justin and crew, please and thank you. Hold the onions, hold the roasted. Well, no, I mean, if you want the black olives, the onions, and all that stuff, you can get their nachos, right? You can get their potato skins. You can get their tater tots. You can get their onion rings. You can get their quesadillas. You can get their veggie platter. I mean, my gosh, so many things. Salads, they've got a Caesar salad. Excuse me, they got a house salad. Excuse me, what the heck? They have hot subs. Cheeseburger sub, yum. Grilled cheese, BLT. Let's see, do they put cheese on the BLT? No, they do not. You need to. Um, chicken bacon ranch sub. They're cold subs, Italian. You can get a sliced ham or turkey. You can get the Mama D, which is turkey ham, pepper jack cheese, lettuce, tomato, and a special spicy sauce, and on a brioche roll. I think the next time add bacon for $2. I think the next time I go to Just in Time Entertainment in Lewiston, I'm going to be getting that. They have their wraps, right? They got the. I'm sorry, I don't mean to rub my eye on camera. They have the black wrap. Uh, so it's bacon, lettuce, avocado, tomato. So, okay, there it is. There it is. Um, so they have, and it also comes with ranch dressing. They have the chicken Caesar wrap, and it's grilled chicken, chopped lettuce, croutons, and Caesar dressing, right? And gee, I wonder who this is named after. Sammy K, $9. It's spinach wrap, ham, turkey, and American cheese, guacamole, black olives, and tomatoes. All right, sounds great. Pizza and calzones. I think this is where you have me. You get a cheese pizza, you can get a pepperoni pizza. You can get 10 or $10. You can get a 10-inch pepperoni pizza. I love that. $10. 16 inch is $16. Hawaiian pizza. Yes, I believe that pineapple does belong on pizza. You can get a veggie pizza. You can get so many things. You can get Angus burgers. You can get a whole bunch of stuff. Please check out justintimebowl.com/menu. All right. Please do that. And I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to be doing this quite a bit. I'm going to be talking about their stuff and whatnot. But, because this is the first time that we've had them as a sponsor, that I've had them as a sponsor, I will go through the whole email. Hold on. I got a message because here's the thing. Okay. It's just a good friend of mine. So anyway, Just in Time Entertainment. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Sammy, for deciding to sponsor Flush in the Pocket podcast. All right. I want to thank the viewers. I really do. Because we're going to go to YouTube right now. And we're going to look at my channel, right? Flush in the Pocket podcast. Presented by Brunswick, sponsored by Just in Time Entertainment. Just in Time Recreation. Just in Time Recreation. I am so sorry. And you see that's live. You got 105 subscribers. 105. All right. So before I left for Portland, and Portland, Maine is 2 hours away from me, 2 hours south. All right. And before I left for Portland, I believe I had maybe 93 subscribers. And now I have 105, which is my favorite number because, B105, today's hot new country, B105. But now 105 subscribers. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Big shout out to Mike Brown. Big shout out to, I met him. He's from Portland, him and his wife, Katie. And, and they're, and also Molly. I met Molly over the week, this past week. And I met so many people that I said, hey, I have a bowling podcast. Oh, really? And how do I find it? And I tell them, and they're all about it because they love the PBA. If you're in Portland, Maine for a whole solid week, my impression of you is, or my assumption is, that you love the PBA or at least halfway interested, right? So, yes, that is awesome. Thank you so much to everybody. Now, go ahead and check out I've done some interviews. I did some interviews with Tom Smollett. I did an interview with Parker Bone. Tom is going to be on this show on October 23rd. All right. October 23rd, Wes Malott will be here. October 30, not here. I would love it, Wes, if you would come to Maine on October 30. Come to Orono, Maine on October 30. I am officially inviting you and Sarah. And, you want to bring the kids, come to Orono, Maine on October 30 and do the podcast live in my studio. Let me tell you guys, that's not going to happen. All right. And so many great things. Okay. All right. So many great things. Thank you, Just in Time Entertainment. Recreation. Just in Time Entertainment. Yeah. Just in Time. Thank you so much. I'm butchering that, and I don't mean to. Just in Time Bowling. JustinTimeBowl.com. All right. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring. All right. So let's get to tonight's episode. There are things you want to say, and there are things you don't want to say. And when I say there are things you want to say, what's on your mind. You want to say what's on your heart. You want to say, sometimes you have to tell somebody off. Sometimes you got to do this, that, and whatever. And what you don't want to say, though, I guess is what we should focus on, is you don't want to say goodbye to somebody whose life has been cut short, way too short. And that is why we're doing this podcast tonight. We are going to be mentioning a great player from San Bernardino, California, the late, great Tony Reyes. I wish that he was in Portland. I wish that he was still here. I wish that, and a lot of people do. A lot of people do, because Tony had that infectious smile. The laugh too. I mean, the laugh was iconic. It was almost trademarked. It was almost like he should have trademarked that laugh, because he should have had, patent that laugh. It was just, but yes. So this podcast is a year old on December 18. December 18 was when I did the first episode with Andrew Pfeffer, and it was the PBA preview. And then I interviewed Parker Bone in, I want to say February, and then January, February. And that's when I took the podcast where I've now taken it, where I interview pro bowlers that want to be interviewed, that'll let me interview them. And a lot of pro bowlers have, talked to me willingly, and none of them, and we do have a viewer, thank you for watching, please comment. And like I said, this is not going to be the best episode. I don't have anything prepared. I should have, but I was just busy all week, and then I came back. I had to bowl tonight, and so this is just me talking. And if people that know Tony Reyes want to come on this podcast, I'm more than happy to send you a link and have you share your memories of Tony Reyes. Now, I want to share with you how I found out of Mr. Reyes' passing. It was a Friday morning. It was Friday, September 28, 2012. I woke up and I started my day the way so many people do. Okay? How many of you, all right? How many of you have your phone? And a lot of people that are older than us are like, "Well, why are you on your phone so much? Get off your phone. Put the phone down." I'm sorry, but I like to be on my phone. Right or wrong, I like to be on my phone. When I wake up, it's the first thing I do is check my phone. Okay? Some people, that's just what they do. So on Friday, September 28, 2012, I get a message. Or no, I don't get a message. I read Facebook. I wake up, I want to say 10 o'clock or something like that, and I check Facebook, and I see a Facebook post from Robert Smith. And it read, "Oh my God, Tony, I am so sorry. I don't know what to say." I can't remember the exact wording. All right. Robert Smith is Tony Reyes, and Tony Reyes were best friends. And I mean, they lived pretty close to each other. And I was like, what is going on? And then it was revealed that Tony Reyes had passed away. And he was born in 73. So he was 73. He was around 38 years old. And he was a great PBA bowler. He made his first show at the Battle at Little Creek in 2001. If you all remember that show, excuse me. If you all remember that show, that was the show that was won by Steve Wilson. You had Jason Couch on that show. You had Brian Himmler, and you had Tony Reyes. And that show, there was a lot of technical difficulties. Tony had a gutter ball. Tony, it was his first show. He did on his first show what typical bowler does on his first show. Right? Okay. So, and then he made a show. Actually, that was not his first show. His first show was in 1999 in Lakewood, California. The very first time they experimented with 8-player bowling. The 3 shootouts, you had 6, 7, 8 in the first match, or 8, 7, 6, if you will. And then the winner of that took on the 5th and 4th seed. The winner of that took on the 3rd and 2nd seed, and the winner of that advanced to the title match with the number 1 seed. That was Tony's first show. I believe he finished second on that show. All right. So the Battle at Little Creek, I believe, was his second show. And it was one of those shows that, I don't really remember it. But what I want to do, I think a show that I remember very well is when Tony made a show in 2001 on July 27, 2001, the ABC Masters, which is now the USBC Masters. Tony makes a show, and he is your number 3 seed. He is, because on that show was Chris Hayden. You had Chris Hayden, Shannon Buchan, Tony Reyes, Parker Bone, Jason Couch. And on that show, Tony was the number 3 seed, and he bowled great. He, had a great first match, and then, of course, he loses to Parker Bone. And, that was one of my very first memories of Tony Reyes. All right? And then, of course, he bowls in 2002 in Dallas, the tournament where we now call him Dick Allen, but Richie Allen won his first title. Tony, if I remember right, he finished second to Richie / Dick, whatever you want to call him, right? And then, so Tony's having a okay career. He's just hasn't won yet. And then he makes a show in 04 at the AMF Babylon in West Babylon, New York, on Long Island. And so on that show, you had Tommy Jones, you had Patrick Gerard, you had Tony Reyes, and you had one other, Tommy Jones, Tony Reyes, Patrick Gerard, and I'm drawing a blank. Chris Barnes. Sorry, Chris. All right. So, and Tony finished second there. And then, the show where Walter Ray made the Big Four. He's the only bowler to ever make the Big Four. He did that at Brunswick Zone Norcross in Norcross, Georgia. And Tony's mom, Jessica, was there. And I believe that was one of the first times, if not the only time, she ever got to see him bowl. And I think about her because no, I don't care how old you are, no parent should ever bury their child. I don't know what it's like to bury a child. I just don't, because I know I don't have kids. So I just what she had to have gone through in 2012, and I don't know Mrs. Reyes, and I don't know if I, I don't know his mom. I don't even know if she's alive today. I'm going to assume that she may be, and she just, I mean, it's got to be hard, right? So in Norcross, that's when she got to see him bowl on TV, and he did all right there, and of course he's still waiting for that first title, and so you go to, we're going to jump ahead to 2005. 2005, the Motor City Classic. I want to say it was either 2005 or 2006. I believe it was, I know it was on November 5th, right? I know it was on November 5th. And it was not 2000. One second. It was November 5th, 2006. Okay. That's when it was, 2006. And it was right after Doug Kent won the Masters. And then, they go to Taylor Lanes in Taylor, Michigan, which is no longer there. And Tony is the number 2 seed. So on that match, you had Mike Scroggins, you had Mike Edwards, you had Wes Malott, you had Parker, and you had, Wes was the number 1 seed, Parker was number 2, Tony number 2 seed, Parker number 3 seed, Mike Edwards and Mike Scroggins were the opening match, 4 or 5 seed. So they were on the cheetah pattern for that tournament, and that was one of those. I mean, think about it. Cheetah. What is the cheetah pattern? The cheetah pattern is adult bumper bowling. You had 35 feet of oil, but there were dry boards to the right and left. So if, for guys like Parker and Mike Scroggins, they were piping it from the gutter, the 1, 2, 3 board, right? And then, Tony Reyes, he likes to throw it hard. Mike Edwards loves to throw it hard. That is his A game, right? So you get to Tony Reyes, and they had three righties, 2 lefties, and he was the number 3 seed. He's bowling against Parker Bone, and he shoots 300 at Parker Bone. And what happens usually when you shoot 300? When you go on to your next match, you have a letdown usually. Look at Parker, right? When he shot 398 at the Masters in that shootout round, he falls to Mike Albee. Mike Miller, National Bowling Stadium Open, June 20, 1999, on a Sunday. He shoots 300. He, I believe, shoots 190 in the title match, loses to Ricky Ward. It's very rare that when you bowl 300, that you're going to bowl a good enough game to win the next game. You could, but it's rare. This is one of those times where he did. Tony Reyes bowled 300 against Parker Bone, and then he defeats Wes Malott in the title match. I believe shooting a 250. So when I talked to Parker this week, and I actually talked to Parker last night, and I said, hey, listen, so I'm doing this podcast for Tony, and I said, you know, I know it's a travel day for you. Is there any way that you can, say a few words about Tony? And I should have, as he was doing it, I should have been videotaping it. But what Parker said was, you know what? There have been a few guys that have bowled 300 against me, at me, and Tony was one of them. And, during that tournament, Tony goes and finally wins his first title. And he was very, very happy. His father passed away, I believe if not that week, not too long before he won that title. And so Tony actually, it was because when Tony won, he pointed up at the sky, to his father, and it was just something special. Tony Reyes was somebody who I believe would have loved Portland. He is somebody that I think if he was bowling in Portland and the crowd, how they are in Portland, I apologize for my being lackadaisical because I'm just a little tired. Hold on, let me get long week, had to bowl tonight. My voice is a little hoarse because we'll talk about that coming up in a little bit. But Tony would have loved Portland because Tony was somebody who would play to the crowd. He's not one of those Pete Weber types. Tony knew when to show emotion and when to keep it in check. He knew how to bottle up his emotions and save them for the right time. Tony was one of those players that would be like, okay, one more. When he shot his 300, he's like, oh, yeah, yeah. One more game, though. That was his focus, was one more game. Because, he knew that if he would just come down a little bit, he might focus well enough and make good enough shots to win his first title, finally. And Tony did that day. What I'd like to do right now is I would like to read the article that the PBA wrote on September 28, 2012. Nope. Not there. All right. This was written by Jerry Schneider. September 28, 2012. The sport of bowling was shaken Friday with the news that PBA Tour champion Tony Reyes had been killed in a car accident in California. Reyes, 38, who competed in 14 seasons on the PBA Tour, won his lone tour title in dramatic fashion in the 2006 Motor City Classic in Detroit, where he bowled the 18th televised 300. Now, I need to stop there. Because Tony actually bowled the 17th televised 300 game. And I don't know if I love to do this. I don't think I do, but it's necessary to do. Tony shot the 17th 300. I'm going to show you how and why. Not how he did it, obviously. How do you bowl 300? people that come on this show bowl 300 with their voice, flush in the pocket, 12 questions. Well, Tony threw 12 strikes and he bowled 300. So, Mika Koivunyemi. Oh, I'm sorry. When Mike Miller shot 300 in 1999 on June 20th, Father's Day of 1999, that was the 14th 300 game bowled on national TV. Norm Duke had the 15th 300 game on national TV. Okay. So, and that was on January 5th, 2003. So, there had not been a 300 game on TV since Mike Miller in 1999 until January 5th, 2003 in Tacoma, Washington. Now, I'm not trying to talk about other players while we're trying to pay tribute to Tony Reyes. But it is necessary. Now, Norm, when he shot his 300, he was playing, it was on the 43 foot at the time. They've made some changes to the shark pattern. They made changes to all the patterns. But when he bowled that 300, he played the shark pattern like it was the cheetah pattern. He was piping it up the 1, 2, 3 board. And he was the only player that could do that. Everybody else, Mike Wolf was inside. Mike Devaney, who won, was inside. But for some reason, Mike Wolf was inside. It was his first show. He didn't have a good ball reaction. 1 second. Sorry. Walter Ray was inside. He obviously got past Mike Wolf because Mike struggled. So obviously Walter was going to beat him, but Walter couldn't get past Norm Duke. And if you remember right, Norm was wearing a shirt that was like when he jumped into Walter Ray's arms, and had to have been a little awkward for Walter Ray, even though they're good friends. You just beat me. Why are you jumping into my arms here? So that was the 15th 300. The 16th 300, all right, was in Windsor Locks, Connecticut on December 7, 2003. All right. Remember that day. It was the blizzard day. It was the blizzard week. There was a blizzard in Windsor Locks, Connecticut at Bradley Bowl. Well, in that area, there was a blizzard that week. And I guess Sunday was no different. But Mika shot the 16th 300 game at Jason Couch 300 to 248. All right. So there it is. There's 16 300 games, and we're in 2003. There is not another 300. So we have 16, right? We have a couple 300s that don't count, but we're not going to get into that. We have West Milan has shot 2 on TV. Those don't count because it was a special event. And there have been other 300s that have been shot on TV. I think we're over 33 now, 34, something like that now. But so Tony Reyes has the 17th 300 because there were no 300 games from 2003 to 2006 on TV. All right. So that was number 17. So I wish this was fixed. I wish this was edited a little bit, or maybe I wish they did a little bit more research. One thing I do not like is when they get PBA facts wrong. I'm just not a fan of that. So who does have the 18th 300? If it's not Tony, then who is it? It's actually Ryan Schaefer. Ryan Schaefer bowled the 18th 300 game at Woodland Bowl, which is now Royal Pin Woodland in Indianapolis, Indiana, in 2007. And he did that against Jeff Carter. So that is the 18th 300. Okay. So Tony Reyes does not have the 17th or the 18th. It is Ryan Schaefer. So there you go. But there must be a reason why the PBA and Mr. Schneider has put that Tony has the 18th 300 game. There has to be a reason. I don't know what that reason is, but there's a reason. Okay, so we're going to read on. So in the semifinal match against Parker Bone III, he bowled that 300 game. Now, he did go on to defeat Wes Malott in the championship match, 255 to 238. And so Tony Reyes has cut back on the tour competition in recent seasons because he wanted to concentrate on his pro shop business and coaching. Man, if you had a chance to be coached by Tony Reyes, I'm envious of you. He finished sixth in the 2010 PBA Tournament of Champions and 21st in 2012 and 37th in 2011. It was a sad, and I'm saying was because this was written 11 years ago. It was a sad day for PBA and bowling, said PBA Commissioner Tom Clark. You hear descriptions about people all the time as being great guys. Well, in Tony Reyes's case, that was an understatement. No one who has ever met Tony Reyes didn't like Tony Reyes. I get that. I see that. I could just see that because of how he was and how he carried himself. He was a great bowler, a unique talent, with a grit of spreading the virtues of the game, a wonderful friend, and the sadness we feel is indescribable. Our thoughts are with the Reyes family. Reyes, who also won 8 PBA regional titles, graduated from San Jose State University in 1998. Hang on one second. With a degree in radio. Hey, there you go. Television and film. There you go, Tony. You're after my heart, buddy. And he competed on the San Jose State team from 1992 to 1995. And he was named first team All-American in 1993 and 1995. He was also an assistant coach for San Jose State bowling team. Tony Reyes was an amazing person, and said PBA Deputy Commissioner and longtime PBA Tour Director Kirk von Kruger. When he walked into a room, you just couldn't help but smile. He simply made you feel good. Tony's 100-watt smile was a window into the man inside. It told you everything you needed to know about him. According to the San Bernardino Patch News website, the accident occurred in the early morning hours on Friday morning in the town of Redwood City, California. Reyes was married to his wife, Nicole, and had a 1-year-old daughter. I'm going Gianna, 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 I believe is how you pronounce that. And I apologize for butchering that. Okay. Additional details on his death were limited, and information regarding services is still pending. So obviously this was years ago. And unfortunately, since this happened 11 years ago. This happened 11 years ago today. Today we are on September 28, 2023. 2012 was 11 years ago. Since that time, Tony's widow, Nicole, has passed away. Our thoughts are with the entire Reyes family. And I am keeping the thoughts of their daughter, Gianna. I want to thank everybody who has watched this podcast. If you're watching later, thank you. If you have a memory of Tony Reyes that you would like to mention, please like and subscribe, comment on YouTube. I'll be more than happy to read them. Before I leave you tonight, I will mention, and I will come on tomorrow at about tomorrow we have Danny Hatton. She and her husband Mike run a tournament called That's What I Do Bowling. And they also run a tournament called the Grimalkin. And she's going to tell you about all of that. That episode is tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. So please check out Flush in the Pocket, presented by Brunswick, sponsored by Just in Time Recreation. JustInTimeBowling.com. Please check out the website and see what they offer. They are in Lewiston, Maine. If you're ever in Lewiston, Maine, you have to check out that bowling center. And you've got to check out the food. You've got to check out Better Builders Pro Shop. Jimmy Clark is the pro shop owner in that. He also runs the pro shop at Bayside Bowl, Portland, Maine. So that wraps up the Tony Reyes tribute. So, if you don't mind, because it was just done, and I don't know if this is appropriate or not, and if it isn't, I apologize, because I don't know anybody who loves the PBA more than me. I don't know anybody who cares about the players more than myself, maybe their families. But I was able to see some of the greatest pros this past week in Portland, Maine. Saw guys like Chris Barnes, Chris Prather, Chris Vi, Graham Fa, Parker Bone, my best friend Parker Bone. Saw Jason Couch, Sean Rash. Sean Rash did a great clinic in spare time recreation in Augusta, Hallowell, if you will. So coming up next, there will be no show next week because I will be in West Virginia bowling in a tournament, the Northeast Air National Guard Northeast Regional Bowling Tournament. So that is next week. And so congratulations to the Snickers Waco Wonder for winning the PBA League Elias Cup last night at Bayside Bowl in Portland, Maine. And on that team, you had Parker Bone, you had Jason Stern, you had Ryan Simonelli, you had Frank Snodgrass, and you had BJ Moore. And they all did great. Ryan Simonelli winning the Mark Roth MVP. And, you know, Chris Prather for Portland didn't have the greatest ball reaction. I'm going to actually watch it again, because when you're in there, it's hard to watch. It's hard to follow along. But I was more than honored to be in there, in that facility for a whole week. And let me tell you what, Portland, Maine does it right. Charlie Mitchell does it right. And, you know, thank you to Tom Clark, past guest on Flush in the Pocket, for, you know, kind of being one of the brain children of bringing the PBA to Maine. And that was incredible. I cannot wait until next year. What's going to happen next year? Who's going to be in Portland? Who's not going to be in Portland? We don't know. A lot can happen in a year. I don't even know when the PBA schedule is going to be out. I don't know when they're going to Portland next year. No clue. Okay? No clue. So, I want to thank everybody for watching this. I hope I did an okay job. Remembering Tony Reyes. I hope I was, I hope I made you smile, made you remember, made you, think about a great man. Because that's what Tony Reyes was. So, thank you, everybody. Tune in tomorrow night when we have Danny Hatton from That's What I Do Bowling and the Grimalkin tournament. I believe that's something they do on Wednesdays. She'll talk about it. She'll let us know. And, she's had the reason I wanted to have her on. I saw her on Bowling with the Fef. She just seemed so bubbly, so fun to just talk to. It was great. So that is happening tomorrow night. So please tune in. This has been Flush in the Pocket, presented by Brunswick Bowling, sponsored by Just in Time Recreation. Check out Just in Time at justintimebowling.com. JUSTINTIME bowling.com. Great things, great fun of things that they offer, birthday parties, great food, just a whole bunch of stuff. And again, it is right. Just in time. Hold on 1 second. Just in Time Recreation. And you can give them a call. And you can do that at 786-BOWL. That's 207-786-BOWL. If you're going to be in Lewiston, Maine, looking for a great place to bowl, please check out Just in Time Recreation on 14 Mollison Way in Lewiston, Maine, 04240. And one more time, their phone number, 207-786-2695, 207-786-BOWL. Thank you, Justin and Samantha, and for sponsoring this podcast. And really means a lot. This has been Flush in the Pocket, presented by Brunswick, sponsored by Just in Time Recreation. I'm Derek Michaud. We'll see you tomorrow night when we talk to Danny Hatton from That's What We Do Bowling. Thank you, and have a good night.